So hi guys, good morning everyone. A very good morning to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. This is very fine. Tuesday morning. It's the 10th of March 2026, and welcome to this market intelligence with me. So as we get to look at what it is we're anticipating for the new week. So yesterday was Monday, quite a mild and chilled day for Monday. So yesterday, I didn't release a weekly market outlook. So it's the outlook that I'm releasing today. So this is what you have. So for Euro USD, last week, remember Euro USD, we were anticipating to see price come into these areas here. And by the time we were closing the week last week, we were closing at around these areas. Then Monday came, we had this whole gap from here all the way down to this area, and our target was hit. So making our working range being from this supply all the way down to this demand like that, the target was hit. Then yesterday we were looking at a potential bullish reversal, and that we have already seen price fill the range, and the target again has already been hit for this one. So chances are very high you might actually get to see price break above this. Then we see a retest before a potential continuation of the rally higher, as the major range starts from here, this supply area, all the way down to this demand like that, right? So I'm looking at a potential break above this for Euro USD, a potential break above this supply, a higher high formed. We have a retest of the broken supply as a new demand. Before now, a potential continuation of the rally higher. And the next area of interest is price coming to these supply at 1.17480 areas, level, let's say 1.17500 levels, right? So we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. So for probably anyone who missed it from here, because this was yesterday's move from here till here, you can wait for now the move after price breaks above this from here all the way to this next supply area, all the way to this next supply area up there, right? So we have that for Euro USD. Okay, we have that on Euro USD, and you can see these on the 4-hour time frame. Right, these on the 4-hour time frame. So that is what we have. Let's even check out the daily and see what let's check out the daily and see what you have. Again, on the daily, you can see these are very major range that price has filled from this demand area. That is why it was the previous target for the sales that we had. So this is the major origin of this whole rally, all the way to these highs of 1.20500, and now price has filled the major range back to that area like that. That is why you're seeing now that bullish reversal here. So here, with the current momentum that I'm seeing, chances are high I might break above, retest, then push to this next supply area up here. Because again, this supply area is a very key area. These areas, these levels right here, right? But if price again holds at this area, you might see a potential bearish reversal. It's also very possible. But I'm making my anticipation based off the kind of momentum that price has at this level. And you can see even this on the 1-hour time frame. And that is the kind of momentum we are seeing. So chances are high we might get to see a break above. Chances are high we might get to see a break above this area, right? So we have that on Euro USD. Then let's have a look at GBP USD. So for GBP USD, we actually scouted this opportunity when price was inside this area. So the working range now is from this supply all the way down to this demand. And remember the majority of part of last week we were bearish on GBP USD, and our target was at the areas of 1.33, 33,500, of which that range and the target was filled. So we had quite a bit of consolidation for Thursday and Friday. Then now this week on Monday is when you're seeing the gap into this demand. Then now a strong push to the upside. So currently at about 1.4694, I'm anticipating to see a potential continuation of the rally higher, and prices rallying all the way to these areas of 1.35, 320 areas, back to these major supply, right, for the full range to be filled. So now when price comes back to this supply, I'll be anticipating to see if price will hold at this supply, then we see something like this potential bearish reversal, or will price get to this area and break above? But chances are very high you might see price rally into this, then a potential bearish reversal. Remember, tomorrow you have CPI, so we will be anticipating quite a bit of momentum during that time. So let's just observe and see how price gets to react to these on GBP USD. Let's have a look at the daily time frame as well. So on the daily, this is what you have. So you can see we filled the major range on the daily time frame also, because again, this is the range we are working with from this demand all the way to these highs up here and back to this demand. That range was filled like that. Then from this demand again, a strong push back to this supply. Remember, this is a very key area of supply. This is a very key area of supply, right? The kind of reactions you're seeing from this area, these are very key area of supply, right? So when price comes back here, I might get to see either a potential bearish reversal or price gets to break above, because now this area is the mid range of the full range from this demand all the way to these highs and back to this. So this is the mid range. Okay. So we have that. Let's just observe and see how price gets to react to this. Then let's have a look at USD CHF. USD CHF. This is what you have. So for USD CHF, again, this is the kind of scenario we are working with. We've seen price tap this area. And remember, this is a fresh supply. So the reason why it's a fresh supply, because it was a previously broken demand and it was never retested. So when price dropped all the way to this demand, then we had the rally to this, price comes back to this demand. A push to the upside, price comes back to this. Then eventually the full range is filled, which is back to the origin of this drop. So now that the full range has been filled, right, with the full range being filled right there, that's why we've seen now a push to the downside. These are lower high formed, push to the downside, lower high formed, then now you're seeing this kind of scenario. So I anticipate to see a potential continuation of the drop lower. And the next area of interest is these areas of 0.76550 areas for the full range to be filled like that, right? 0.76, 0.76550 areas, all right? So we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this, okay? I'm looking at a potential continuation of the drop lower. This is already now a bearish reversal scenario, and you're looking at prices coming back to the origin of this rally, which is this area of 0.76550 areas, which is back into this demand. All right. And you can see this on the 4-hour time frame. If you also check out the daily as well. If you check out the daily as well, you can see that is why price has reacted from this area here, like that. You have this area like that, like that, like that, right? So this is a very key demand that was not retested now as a new supply. That is why you're seeing the moment price tapped into this, you're seeing a very strong push to the downside. And I anticipate to see that and price fill the range back to this demand, because now the range is from this supply to this demand, then from demand to supply like that, right? So from supply again back to this demand. Right? So we have that. Then let's have a look at USD So for USD this is what we have. USD for USD this is what we have. Okay. So our working range again is from this supply all the way down to this demand and back to this supply. That range was filled. Okay. Then uh Then we have again from these highs back to these lows and to these highs again, that range was filled. Then you had a slight retracement, then a strong push to the upside to this area, then now a push down. Then price came to retest these highs. We have these highs here. So it is more like a liquidity build up. Then liquidity got taken out. Price comes back, reacts from the liquidity point. Then we see a strong drop all the way down to this area here. So at this level, I'd want to see probably a potential push to the downside and price coming to these areas of these lows of 1.35 thousand areas. All right. So I'm looking at a potential push to the downside and price coming to these levels of 1.35 thousand areas back to these basically these lows down here, right? So we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Okay. That is on USD/CAD. Then we have NZD/USD. For NZD/USD, this is what you have. Okay, for NZD/USD, this is what you have. Again, I can say this was the zone that you have on the daily time frame. Let me go first the 4, then we come back to the daily. This one, our target was hit 0.58400. This was a swing that we've had for about like 3 or almost 4 weeks now. From the 9th of February here to the 9th of March yesterday. Although this was hit about this was hit on the 3rd of March, yeah. So approximately just close to almost 4 weeks. So now the major range is from this demand all the way to this supply area here. Then a push down, retest then all the way down to this, price backs to this. Then a push to the downside, retest, because this is actually now the area we took the positions from, then all the way down like that. Like that, like that. Then price breaks, there's consolidation, breaks below, pushes all the way down to this demand, that range is filled. Then a push to the upside, price comes back to retest demand, then now you're seeing this push to the upside. So I'm anticipating to see a potential rally all the way to these areas of 0.60,000 as the first area of interest, and the major range is all the way to these areas of 0.6500 for the full range to be filled. Right, for the full range to be filled all the way to these areas of 0.6500 areas. All right, so we have that. Okay, we have that for NZD. We have that for NZD USD. Okay. Then, let's have a look at it is for NZD USD. Let's have a look at Euro GBP. So for Euro GBP again, this is what you have. You have a potential, this is what you have had here. The target has been hit 0.86 for 40 areas down here. So our working range has been from this supply down to this demand, from this demand all the way to this supply, from this supply back down to demand, from demand all the way to supply, from supply again. Consolidation breaks above, goes to these highs. This was a fake breakout. Then price breaks below. This was the retest. This will have been the perfect area for entries. Then hold it all the way down to this demand. So that range has been filled. So here now you're looking at a potential bullish reversal, something like that. Okay. So here you're looking at a potential bullish reversal. Then prices rallying back to the origin of this whole drop, which is these areas of 0.87380 areas, back to that supply area, right? So we have that on Euro GBP. Then let's have a look at oil. Let's see how oil is doing. Let's see what you have on US oil and UK oil. So this is what we have. There is US oil. There is UK oil. Okay. So this is what you have. All right. So for US oil, we had previously mentioned about this. That was actually in last week's video. I talked about this, and it is actually right here on Discord. This midweek market intelligence here. I had shared and talked more about US oil and UK oil, and also on the video to do with US and Israel, Israel and Iran war, and the effects on gold and oil. So this is what you have. We saw price this week rally all the way to the 119 areas. Okay. We saw price rally all the way to 119 areas, then a strong drop or retracement back to close to 80 areas. Then now you're seeing price is back to 88 areas. So I don't want to see a rally either back to these areas of 92, 93 areas here. Then from here, I don't want to see if price holds at this level, because if it does, then you might see a slight drop. But if it doesn't, then you might see a potential continuation of the rally higher back to these highs of 115 areas here, right? Back to these areas here. So I don't want to see probably a push to these areas first, 92, 93.72 areas. Then after that, we see a potential, after that, we see a potential break above and price keeps pushing higher, right? So we have that. Then for UK oil as well, you can see even more momentum kicking in. We've seen price rally to these highs here. Then a potential, what we've seen is now a drop all the way down to 87. So now we are seeing a push to the upside. If price breaks above these highs of 92.93, anticipate something like this, then a potential continuation of the rally higher all the way to these areas of back to these highs of 116, right? Back to these highs here, right? So it's something to closely observe and see, right? It's something to closely observe. It's something to closely observe and see. So huh. That is something to closely observe and see on UK oil, even with the ongoing tensions, geopolitical tensions between the US and Iran. Although there is chances of the tensions in Iran easing, but there's chances of the tension easing, but it's something that we can't ignore, the impact of that geopolitical tension on the prices of oil. So that is what I'm anticipating or observing to see. That is what I'm looking out for. Remember, tomorrow you have CPI. Then I'll be able to update more about this. But so far, I'm still quite bullish on these, both crude oil and Brent oil, that is US oil and UK oil. Right. So then let's have a look at gold and silver. So we have gold right here. Nice. So you have gold right here, then you have silver right here. And then you'll notice about the similarity of setups between these two, gold and silver, in terms of the structures. Now look at what you have right here on gold. And no, this is what you have right here on gold, and this is what you have right here on silver. So for gold, this is what you have. The major range we've been working with on gold has been from this demand, these areas of 45.77, all the way to the all-time highs of 5,600, and back to this demand. That range was filled. Then price rallied to the mid-range. We had those kind of reactions from the mid-range, then eventually broke above the mid-range. The higher high formed a retest. Then price rallies to 5,400, came back to this area. As long as you're still above this demand, you're still in bullish territory. You're still in bullish trajectory. So what I would want to see is a potential bullish continuation. So here we had a bit of consolidation, but what I'm anticipating to see is a potential continuation of the rally higher. The first area of interest is 5,400. The next area of interest is these areas of 5,600 levels, all the way back to these highs. All right. So that is what you have on gold. Quite bullish, very quite bullish. I'm anticipating to see a potential continuation of the rally higher. The first area of interest is 5,400. The next area of interest is 5,600 levels. Okay, then we have silver. Again, in terms of setups, this is what you have. So again, you can see in terms of similarity of setups. Here again, you have price rallied all the way to these highs of 96, came back to this structure, and we have seen price hold at this structure. All right. We have seen price hold at this structure. So as long as we don't have a break below yet, we are still in bullish trajectory. So what you're anticipating to see is the potential push to the upside. The first area of interest is 96 point, the first area of interest is 96. The next area of interest is all the way to the levels of 103.67674. So we have the range from this supply all the way down to this demand. Then from this demand, the rally again back to this demand, then the rally all the way to these highs of 103.67674. So even for silver, I'm still anticipating to see a potential. Even for silver, I'm still anticipating to see a potential push to the upside, right? So we have that. Let's observe. We have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Okay, we have that. So let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Okay. So we have that. Okay, we have that. Then let's have a look at NAS and US30. Let's have a look at what you're anticipating for on the indices. NAS 100 and US30. So we have NASDAQ there, and we have US30 right next to it. US30 right there. Mm-hmm. US30 right there. So there you have that. Okay. There you have that. So for Nasdaq, this is what you have. This was the major demand down here. This is the major demand down here at this area. So this demand was the major origin of major market moves from here all the way to these areas, right? Then there was from this supply coming down all the way to this demand. Then from here again. So this was the kind of reaction you're seeing. So from this area all the way down to this demand. Then from this demand, a strong rally back to this. So I'm anticipated to see a potential rally all the way to the areas of 25,400 areas based off this. All right. So I'm looking at prices coming to the areas of 25,400. And if it breaks above, we will see a rally to the 25,700 areas. All right. Remember the inverse relationship between the dollar and, the inverse relationship between the dollar and indices. So if you're looking at a weaker dollar, we are looking at stronger indices. If you're looking at a stronger dollar, you're looking at weaker indices. So that is the play we are looking out for here. Potential rally to these areas of 25,400. Then once you get here, you observe and see if price holds at these, then you can see a potential probably push down. But if price fails to hold at this, expect a potential continuation of the rally higher all the way to these areas of 25,700 levels. All right. Then lastly, we have US30. So this is what you have on US30. So US30 dropped all the way down to this demand, dropped all the way down to this demand, this structure at 46,400. All right. So we have from this supply, because now when the demand was broken, it becomes supply. So from this supply all the way down to this demand, then from this demand, we had the push above retest, then a continuation of the rally higher. So I'm looking at a potential bullish push, a potential continuation of the rally higher, all the way to these areas of 48,640. Right. So all the way to the levels of 48,640. So that is what we are. That is what you're looking out for. Right. So a potential continuation of the rally higher. And the next area of interest is the levels of 48,600, 48,640 areas. Okay, so we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. So as we get to step into these, as we get to step into this week, hope that we all get to trade cautiously, right? I hope that you all get to trade cautiously and carefully. Remember, tomorrow is CPI. Then we have a bit of fundamentals this week. Right, so it's very important to trade cautiously. Remember, we still have the ongoing geopolitical tensions that get to affect the prices of various instruments, the movements, and things like that. So, cheers, guys. Stay blessed and stay financially literate. Let's get to catch up on the next one. So, cheers, guys.